Hi there everybody, it's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.com. Thank you very much for joining me today. Just going to check I'm live. Say hello if you're there. I've got a relatively simple card for you today with a relatively simple technique, but I'm going to make it into a bulk crafting so that I make a few at the same time. Hiya Karen, did you have a nice holiday? I wasn't at all envious when I saw you on a floating bar and out having dinners and things. Okay, so this is the card that I'm going to be making today. And I've called this a white shadow stamping because you've got this white shadow effect behind all of the stamping on the crumb cake cardstock. The reason why I'm doing a simpler card today is because when I pop my cards together, I try to make 4 of each card and I pop them in one of our acetate card boxes. Hiya Cindy, hope you're okay. We're very smoky. Oh no, are you by the fires? Oh, I'm ever so sorry. I hope you're staying safe. It's so tragic. 2020 is not a good year, is it? So when I go to different craft fairs and things like that, I like to pop 4 cards and 4 envelopes in one of these acetate card boxes that you can get from the catalogue. And you get, I think it's 8 of them in a pack, and they're quite handy. They come flat and you just pop them up when you've got your 4 cards. So this is the one sheet wonder cards I did the other week, and I sectioned them up into 4, popped 4 envelopes with it and popped it into a box. So today I'm going to make 3 additional cards of this one and show you how I make them as a bulk so that I can also put them into one of the packs. Oh, 2 of you are around California. It's so sad. About an hour or so away. Oh, I hope everything stays okay for you guys. I think it's just oh, tragic. So the only bit that I've pre-done for this card today is I've pre-die cut my sentiment labels. These ones here. So these are using the So Sentimental stamp set and die set. So this is a coordinating set that you can get from the annual catalogue. And a big shout out to Karen Tilley because I was not going to get these. And then Karen has done some lovely stuff on these over on her YouTube. So that's Tilly Crafts. She's currently looking for 2 more subscribers, by the way. And these are the dies that you get in the pack. And there's another die. Let me grab it. I must have left it in the die cut machine. I didn't leave it in the die cut machine. I'm doing a classic Helen here. So it's that shape that goes in there. And I only had it 2 seconds ago, so I'm not sure what I've done with it. I've popped it somewhere, but yes, it's that shape and it's stitched all the way around the outside, and those are the dies that you get with this set, and you've got some lovely sentiments. So do go and check out Karen's channel and give her a little subscribe if you like what you see, because I know she's looking for those extra subscribers. And I've already die cut these to save me having to go off screen to die cut, but everything else I'm starting from scratch on. And hopefully I'll find that die somewhere. It'll be when I walk around barefoot and I tread on it, you watch. Hiya Norma, hope you're okay. Right, so to start off with, I've got some sheets of crumb cake cardstock and I've got my trimmer, and I'm going to cut them in half. Now in the UK I'm cutting it at 14.85 centimetres, so I'm cutting it in half. In the US you would need to cut it in half as well, but it would obviously be a different measurement because you have different cardstock to us. And I'm scoring it UK at 10.5 so that I can create my card. And that's my base card. I'm just I'm going to do that on both of them. And I've also got my other one from earlier, so that's giving my 3 card bases. Wow, Jeanette, 1 AM. That's some going. I hope I don't put you to sleep, but then at 1 AM you're probably hoping I do. 30 miles away from El Dorado fire, but it's so smoky. The sun is just orange almost all of the day. Nature's strange, isn't it? Just so sad. I hope everybody is okay with it. So I'm going to cut my top layer, and that's going to be 9.5 centimetres. Okay, and that's 13.85, so that it is just a centimetre smaller than my base. And I'm going to cut all of those as well. Whenever I do batch making, I like to batch make together, so I do all the different elements at the same time and then just compile at the end. Oh dear, you're going to be popular, Jeanette. I hope you feel better soon. Right, so the next piece, while I've got my backing sheets, is I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. Now when you get your Stamparatus, you get 2 plates of it. Quite often on my videos I just use the 1 plate, but today I'm going to use both. And so I'm going to pop that one in at the top there, and this one here at the side here. And this is going to be quite interesting because my desk space literally runs out at the end here, so that's kind of as far as my desk space is, so I can't actually put the Stamparatus flat, but ideally you would. Okay, and I'm going to pop my card in, and I'll show you where I'm going to put it because that's quite important with the placement on the mat. These mats are really handy, by the way. They're great if you get ink on because it just wipes off. This is the deluxe mat, you have to buy it separately, but it's also great for popping your measurements on. So I'm going to pop the cardstock right tight in the corner there. It doesn't matter which corner you use, just make sure you've noted where you're putting the cardstock because you're going to be popping each one in. And I'm actually using this one in the corner because I can measure it against the Stampin' Up then, so I don't forget, because I do have an atrocious memory. Hiya Karen. Hi Alison. Wow, I don't blame you being the first time you catch me live. I am 1 AM. Wow. Right, so I'm going to layer my flower piece onto the card, and I'm going to do it so it just fits all of the flower on. Okay, and then manoeuvre my magnets around and pick it up. If you have this, by the way, with photopolymer stamp sets, this one's fine. I've just tried to pick it up and it's coming up fine off the paper. But if you are using a new photopolymer stamp set, sometimes it is sticky, and that's because it's brand new and it will stick to the paper and pick the paper up as well. So if you just use your bone folder and you pop it in, you can pull it off the paper and hold the paper down. I'm just trying to move my light because I can see that it's reflecting in the Stamparatus, and I don't want that because otherwise you might not be able to see exactly what I'm doing. but at the same time I don't really want it to be dark for you, so hopefully that's worked. Fingers crossed. Hiya Shirley. So what I'm going to do, give myself some space, is I'm going to pop my stamp set underneath. I'm going to take the stamps out because I'm going to also be using a few leaves. But I'm going to pop my stamp case underneath, open that, and that will give me a nice rest to pop that down. And I'm using the Whisper White Crafting. So when you purchase this from the catalogue, it comes as an uninked set, and then you get the ink as well, and you add and apply the ink to it. It's really easy and simple. The warning with the white ink is it takes longer to dry than your normal ink. So be prepared that it's going to take a little bit longer when you're drying, and don't pop your hands in it straight away. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to push down quite hard so I get that really white. The other tip when using the white crafting is to have a couple of chamois close, because this does get a bit messy, and I keep two, one to get the initial white off and one to do a clean up afterwards. I'm buffering. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure why. I'm back to using the old camera, and our internet connection looks like it's okay. Okay, so you can see that it hasn't caught all of it, so I'm just going to re-ink it again. And you can't get enough white really, you can keep going until it's as dark as you want. I'm really going to push that down in the centre. With the big stamps I find it's a lot easier, or you get a lot better imprint if you push it down in the centre. Hiya Karen, how are you? I loved your card you finished making the other day. We had a team party the other Friday night, and everyone made some really lovely, we did some easel cards. Okay, and then finally one more, and then I'm done with the white. Okay, so my tip for cleaning the white stamp is, I have two chamois. I know that they look disgustingly dirty, but that's what happens with the ink. And I've got this one that is slightly wetter than this one. And I'm going to wipe over the top, and it's going to go really messy all over the actual plate as well. And you can see it comes off like that. So I'm just going to do that, so that's nice and wet now from the wet one, and it's also took off the excess white. And then I'm going to use a slightly drier one to go around and clean it up. And then the chamois at the end, you just pop them under the tap, rinse them out, and that'll be fine. But that's the white ink off now. So I'm also going to use the leaf stamps, so you can tell how much, by the way, I've been using these. Look at them. So I'm going to use the larger leaf, which is this one. And now that I've got my white stamping on, I can see where I want my leaves. So I've got the medium leaf as well, and I'm going to pop that in. And then I've got the smaller leaf. Okay, so once you've got those on, I'm just going to pop that down from the top. So that's my extra one. So I've still got my flowers on this one, and I'm just going to pick the leaves up. Hiya Wendy, yeah, I'm live. And again, just in case it does get stuck, pop your bone folder underneath, and it's just an extra bit of leverage on there. Okay, now I'm going to get into a right mess now because I can't actually, ideally you would put your leaf flat like you have on this side, but I don't have enough room on the back of my desk. This is actually hit the back of my desk, so I'm going to be going like this, which isn't ideal, but we're going to make it work. And I'm going to use the white on there as well. Okay, this one shouldn't need as many times down because they're smaller stamps, so probably just one more on the top one. The other two I'm quite happy with. That was very brummy. Happy. Okay, so then I'm going to move this one out. Now, like I said, the white ink takes a few seconds to dry, so I'm actually going to pop this to the side and I'm going to do my other three. So remembering that I've lined it up just there, I'm going to come over and I'm going to use the big stamp. Now, if you were just doing one, if you weren't trying to make a few and you didn't really have time to wait, you could use your heat tool just to try and dry off that ink. That would work quite nice as well. So, oh, Wendy, you need to. It's lovely. I love this set. And the dies with this set, by the way, are really fancy. I've used the die over on my blog today, so if you go to slimandstylish.com, you will see I've just used the die and no stamps, and then I've sponged it. So I think blowing my own trumpet is quite effective, but at the same time I didn't really do anything for it other than put it through the die machine, so it's the stamp really and the dies that are amazing. Okay, it's that one again. It's being a pain. So I'm just going to grab that again and do that one. While I'm repeat stamping, I will mention that I've done some changes to my YouTube. So I'm just going to move that one out, and that one can go to dry, and I'll bring my third one in. So on my YouTube channel now, if you're watching any of my videos, you will notice that there are adverts on them. So I've changed my YouTube channel to allow adverts. I am sorry, I know it's really annoying, and I do apologise for that. But at the moment, with me not being able to hold workshops outside my house, it's just a little bit of extra income from my Stampin' Up, and it's not charging anyone for videos. It just means there's a few annoying advert breaks. So I am sorry that I've changed it, but it's allowing me to do some of the giveaways I've had on my channel. So this month I'm giving away the whole peony suite. Last month I gave away stamps with every purchase, and it's just helping me out a little bit and trying to get to my promotion. So I hope you all don't mind, but I thought I'd better mention as to why I've changed and pop some adverts on. Okie dokie, and just the leaves then, and then that's my three done. So it's so easy when you've got the Stamper Artist, and they're all going to look identical because they're all going to be in the same place. I'm just going to do the leaves one more time. Okay, so I'm going to pop my lid on. It's a good thing to do with that because, like I said, the white craft ink does go everywhere. I'm going to use the wet cloth. I'm not going to pull the stamps off the Stamper Artist. I want them to stay exactly where they are. Jeanette, you still have some of the ink on the stamps when you finished. The Stampin' scrub is always really good, but I would recommend still using the chamois first, otherwise your Stampin' scrub's going to end up covered in the white ink, and it's a lot harder to wash than the chamois. And the chamois, even though these look gross and dirty, it is just stained with ink. I pop them in the washing machine. So when I do like a towel wash, anything like that, I just throw the chamois in as well. And then I know they're nice and clean, that's just stained. Okay, so because that's my later one, I'm just going to pop that one to dry as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in the one I did earlier. So this was my first one. That was where it was lined up, so tight into the corner up there on the grid. If I move this nip close to the camera, hopefully you'll see. So I had it up there. What I'm going to do now is going to bring it down just ever so slightly so it reaches that line there. So it's going to come down probably, I don't know, what's that, like 3 millimeters, 2 millimeters, and I'm going to move it across by the same. So I'm just offsetting it slightly. Okay. And that's what will give me this sort of shadow behind the flowers. And the colours I'm using are Gorgeous Scrape and Shaded Spruce. And I'm just using those because they're really nice and bright. You could use any of the other colours. I did contemplate using Melon Mambo. In fact, you know what? I'm making 3 cards. Let's do Melon Mambo, Gorgeous Grape, and what other colours shall we use? I don't know, Pretty Peacock? No, would that be too dark with the green? Let me have a think. Bermuda Bay. Everything's better with Bermuda Bay. Let's try all 3 of them and we'll make some different cards and see which one looks best. So this one was with the Gorgeous Grape. So I'm just going to ink that one up. And you generally only need to do 1 stamp over with the normal ink. But now I've said that, you watch that it's not going to work first time. So I'm just going to pop, oh, make sure that's straight. Properly pop my magnet on. By the way, my magnets are in half because I went through a whole stage of telling everyone who watched my channel to be careful with the magnets because they were really strong, and when they pop together they break. And this is classic example as how I know because I broke them. So I'm just going to fold that over and stamp it down. Wendy, yes, I'm live every Sunday at 4 o'clock. And if you come over, and I'm not sure if you're in my group, it's Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout. I pop a picture in there a couple of hours before I come on so that if you want to craft along, you can get an idea of the supplies that we're going to use. And then I pop an album in there as well, so that if you do make it, you can pop your pictures in. I knew it wouldn't go right first time after I said you only needed to do it once. I knew that would happen. Mary, oh, thank you. Thank you ever so much, that's lovely. Norma, yeah. I feel like we do this every week. I seem to pick a different stamp set. Norma always messages to say, I like it, I want it. So once you've got that on, you then just use the Shaded Spruce on the leaves. So they're on the top one. And I'm just going to ink that one up. It is more ideal if you do have a desk where you can put the Stamperators flat. Normally when I use it on the dining room table, so I know that it's definitely flat. My desk is too thin for it. Okay, so that's card number 1, and you've got that lovely shadow underneath. So now I'm going to pick up card number 2. That's where it started off in that corner, so I'm going to drop it down and move it across just a slight bit. And I said we were going to use a different colour for this one, so let's just Melon Mambo. Yeah, it's crumb cake cardstock, Shirley. Yeah, I would agree, Norma. With Wendy, if you get the dies at the same time, you get 10% off, and the dies they're gorgeous. Jeanette used the whiting once, had a terrible time trying to clean the stamp. Haven't used white since. Might give it another go and use your tip. Yeah, just have a couple of chamois handy. It's quite good. Jeanette, have you tried rubbing off a tiny bit of wash? Yeah, that would work. Make sure you wash your stamps really well afterwards though with the washing up liquid, otherwise it'll affect it next time it stamps. When the next catalogue comes out, I should ask you. Norma. Yeah, I never know. When the catalogues come out, we always get to see them first as demonstrators, and I make a list, and that's the list, and I'm definitely going to get what's on that list. And then when it actually comes that you can do your pre-order, I change my mind last minute and end up adding things I never thought I was gonna get. Then I open the box when they arrive and think, did you really order this? But my lists are always ever changing. I think I've got my magnet too close to the top flower, and I think that's why it's doing that. So I'm just going to move that out, ink it up and go again. This is the joy of the Stamparatus. You can keep going in whichever direction you want. Oh, Wendy, as soon as the video is finished, I'll go and approve you. And thank you. And I'm just going to do the leaves. So that's the Melon Mambo one. And then that's got that shade on as well. And finally the last one. And I said I was going to do this Bermuda Bay. Bermuda Bays are actually my favourite colour. It's taken a bit of a running next to Just Jade this year, because I do like Just Jade. But Bermuda Bay is really my favourite colour. Now we don't do it anymore, so you guys, it's probably a bit annoying me saying it, but we did used to do a ink pad that cleaned the colour off. So I mean that's perfectly clean, and up to me it just shows sign of love on your stamp set that it's got red on it. But you can clean that off. You can use the stays on ink will clear it, and also Stampin' Up used to do this cleaning pad, so if you got this, that also is quite good. It leaves a little foam on and you can clean over it. Unfortunately, I don't know why it didn't carry over, but as you can see it does take quite a lot of the colour off, so if you've got that, that's great. But stays on cleaner will do the same thing. Okay, so Bermuda Bay. Try not to pop it on your fingers. Does anyone else do that when you've been using the new stamp set, the new ink pads, because the new ink pads are different design? When I go back to the old ones, I get all messy. either your blends or your markers. They both work. You can also use the daubers in the ink. If you're unsure on those, have a look back through my live videos. I did a live probably a couple of weeks ago, and I used what did I use? I heat embossed the bottom in the white and then use the colour over the top. And sorry if I've just frozen. My nan's care home, bless them, they've because we can't see anyone because of coronavirus, they've got these iPads now so that Nan can call me, and it's typical, isn't it? She's just come through to call, so that's what's just frozen because I film on my iPhone, so I've just missed her. She's got really, well, it's not her, it's the carers at the care home that ring us. Nan's not tech savvy or anything, and bless her, she'd probably forget, but the carers at the care home ring us and put her on, and they seem to pick during the week when I'm on conference calls, or like now when I'm just in the middle of a live. Perfect timing. So once you've done those, you can move your stamp apparatus out the way. And you've got your 3 backing cards all done. Just trying to wipe my finger where it went in the ink. Okay, the next bit up is the stamp set has this lovely little dot bit that goes in the middle of the flowers, and I've popped them just in the middle using the Whisper White Craft ink quite lightly. I haven't bothered to go over 2 or 3 times. I've just done it once just to give a little bit of effect in the middle. And you can take loads of time lining this stamp up so it fits in the middle. I haven't bothered. I just stamp in the gap and that's me done. I just thought it provides texture. It doesn't really stand out loads, but I thought it looked like there was something missing if you didn't do it. Okay, because I've popped the craft white on, I'm going to pop them to the side to dry again. And I'm going to do my heat embossing. So I've got the little tags for the sentiment. And my stamp's already on there. I can't thank you enough. Very pretty font, I think, this one. So I've got my Versamark, my embossing buddy, and somewhere just there I've got my white embossing powder, and I've also got a piece out of last year's diary. I've folded in half, which is going to catch the embossing powder. Okay, so I'm just going to use my embossing buddy over both of them, over all 3. And ink the sentiment up. There we go. And I always find it handy to have a piece of paper folded in half, because then you can just catch the embossing powder and you can feed it straight back into the tub. I'm messy at the best of times, so anything that tries to make me neater is a huge lifesaver for me. No, I didn't do much that day. It was a really nice diary. I'll show you in a second. I think it was supposed to be one that sort of goes on your desk, but it was about this. It was, you know, this size, but it was about this fat. Well, what could you do with that? You can't put that in your handbag and carry it around. So while it was really nice and looked very pretty on my desk, I didn't use it because it was just a bit impractical for me. For a diary, I like to pop it in my handbag so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, little tiny hint here. I have obviously missed a bit on my embossing buddy. So this is why it's best to use your embossing buddy, because any static on your cardstock, it will pick up the embossing bits. I obviously don't want that there. So I use one of these brushes, and Janice Thompson, who's normally on, told me what they're called, and I don't know whether it's a feather paint brush or something like that, but it's really light and really soft. So I just use that just to agitate those bits and then knock them off so that they're not on the card. But yeah, that's why you should use your embossing buddy, and it's why I always keep a paintbrush handy. Proper apologies now, it's going to get a bit noisy. I'm just going to heat set these. This card is Crumb Cake, Wendy. So normally when I do my embossing, I like to do it on the full sheet so that I can hold on to it. These were too small, I burnt my fingers, so I had to put them down, and that's made my paper warp underneath. But I didn't see the point in doing it on a big sheet of cardstock and then running off and die cutting them while you were sitting there waiting for me. So that's all finished. I'm going to bring my backing card in, and I've got some Whisper White cardstock. This is 10.2 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, so it is about 1/4 of an inch bigger if you go over in America doing it, so that it just sits on the back like that. So I'm going to pop these on, and I'm using my liquid glue for those. Yeah, could use wax paper, Cindy. There we go. Tell you what, I'm hoping this live lasts forever today, because I promised my brother that when it finished I'd go to the gym with him. So I have a gym membership and I use it very, very rarely, and then during the coronavirus, obviously the gym closed, And then when it reopened, I said to my brother, oh, I'm going to go back because I'm not going out of the house for work or anything. I perhaps thought the gym was what I needed. And stupidly, my brother said, oh, I'll join and come with you. Which means last week we went 5 times to the gym. 5. The one night I thought he was actually going to have to pick me up off the cross trainer and carry me out. So he spoke to me this morning and said, do you fancy going to the gym today? And I said, I can't, I'm doing a live. He went, oh, that doesn't finish very late. We'll go to the gym after. So I thought, I'm going to make that live like 3 hours so I can get out of it. Is that really bad? Am I being silly? But what? But does the wax melt? That will be a daftest question. Yeah, Cindy's using the wax instead of the embossing buddy. So before you actually use the heat tool. But if you're using wax paper and if you stamp onto tissue paper, you can pop them onto your candles. I like making stamped candles. So the ribbon that I'm using is on my desk somewhere. Here it is. It's the crinkled seam binding ribbon. And I'm just going to run this around the card. So I've got my tape runner and I'm going to work out where I want my sentiment to be. So I'm going to pop it, I'm actually going to pop this one up here purely because those two haven't come out as well as those. So I'm just going to pop myself a little bit of glue. Pop that on and run it round. Okay, quite happy with all of these ones, so I think I'm going to pop that one back down there where I put my original one. The Bermuda Bay for me, while I love it and it is my favourite colour, it's come out very close to the shaded spruce leaves, I think, in my mind. So I'm not really sure I've bought into that one. I'm going to pop that back over there as well. Okay, so some dimensionals. Being generous today and popping 4 on because I'm going to, well, not squish, but I'm going to pop these into the acetate boxes. I want to make sure when someone buys them, they're still, you know, looking good rather than flat. So there. And I don't know whether you can see, but I've gone straight to the edge, so I've gone over the white, so it sits flush, so it's more like a label on top of the card and you can't see. Yeah, this one, by the way, Norma, this is a classic example. I mean, I'd looked at the catalogue a million times, didn't buy it, didn't think I really wanted it. To be perfectly honest, I hadn't really spotted it. And then Karen got it and she did some lovely videos on it. I had to add it to my shopping list, so where are we? Oh, Shirley, honestly, I was collapsing on the bed this week. I was getting out the shower and just collapsing and saying, that's it. He's a bit of a, what's the word? Slave driver? No, not that. He's just a bit enthusiastic with it. Oh, thanks, Cindy. Yeah, if you are enjoying, please do give me a little thumbs up. Oh, yeah. I love popping ribbon on, Wendy. Use that sentiment set more than any other in the last one. It's a lovely sentiment set, isn't it? Yeah, you can sell your cards. Double check the angel policy of Stampin' Up, but you can sell them. You need to be able to put on there the copyright stamp set. So if I quickly show you, because these are already ready to go, so I know I've already put the copyright on. On the back of my cards, these are Stampin' Up sets. It's the, I'm trying to think of the name of the set. Make a Difference stamp set. So it's this one here. And you've got these on, but what I use is the copyright Stampin' Up. So that's the one that's with the angel policy on this one. And I've used the www.com to put my blog on. And I've also just used the homemade by and the hashtag make a card, and I have that set up on a Stamparatus plate, so I never move it. I mean, it's not on here, it's never been on here since I've had them. They've just been stuck on the Stamparatus plate, and every time I make a card I just pop them in the Stamparatus, stamp that on the back, fill it in, and it's ready to go. And then I pop them into either the clear envelopes or these acetate card boxes, so they're just ready to sell when I go to craft fairs or to gift away. So and like I said, these come flat and you could probably fit 5 in. I've used dimensionals on all of these cards. They were the one I did in the One Sheet Wonder with you guys the other week, so I've popped 4 in, but you probably could fit 5 in, and then I sell them. So I'm sticking this on to the card flat rather than popping it up. And I still must put my bows on. Don't let me finish without forgetting to do my bows. But you can see it's so easy to bulk buy. So not bulk buy, bulk make your cards with the Stamparatus. I mean, now I've got these on the plates where I wanted them. I could have just kept going sort of and done loads. If you were doing sort of wedding cards or birthday invitations, Christmas cards, it's just so easy to make. It really is. Okay, so to finish it off, I'm going to make 3 little bows, and then I've got some embellishments to put on as well. Yeah, Crafting Forever, that has one on. That's the one with the paintbrushes on, isn't it? I'm sure, perhaps, maybe. But yeah, that has a copyright stamp on it as well. Yeah, I'm a big fan of crumb cake. I very rarely use it. When I make a card on white, I very rarely use crumb cake as the backing because you can't see it very much, and I normally go for like a bright colour. That's why I love this sort of technique where you can stamp onto the crumb cake nice and bright, and then you can see how just gorgeous the crumb cake is. And a few years ago, do you remember, I think it might have been the first year I joined Stampin' Up actually, we had a Christmas catalogue and it had crumb cake and old olive was the 2 main colours in the DSP and all the sweets that year. I loved that. And you could get 12 by 12 crumb cake then and 12 by 12 Old Olive. I made so many projects. So I'm just going to pop glue dot on the ribbon, and then I'm going to stick the bow on sideways with the tails over the sentiment like that. Do you know, I used to, when I first started doing my videos, sit here for ages, and the longest part of my video, turn my bow around, was trying to get a perfect bow, like wrapping the ribbon round and trying to get the bow and undoing it and going again. And it always used to panic me before I come on my videos, like how many times am I going to try and play with this bow? And when I found the faux bow technique where you can just do this and it looks better, oh, it was like a lifesaver. And the embellishments I'm using are the butterfly gems. So these are in the current catalogue, the annual one. And you've got them in purple posy, that lovely colour I can't say, so no one laugh at me, Rocio Rose, which I know that's not how you say it, it's like Rococo, but I get confused. Seaside Spray. Ooh, what colour are you? Calypso Coral, not Calypso Coral. Pumpkin, between Pumpkin Pie and Calypso Coral, it's got to be one of those. And Shaded Spruce, so it matched my leaves perfectly. I'm just going to stick that back down because that came up without the base. I prefer to use my Take a Pick tool with my embellishments because you don't, it's a lot more gentler if you use a spatula end. But my Take a Pick tool is downstairs on the living room table. So it's instead my piercing tool. I'm just going to pop a couple of butterflies on each one. They're faceted, so they're really sparkly and just provide a bit of sort of jazz on the card. Like that. Okay, oh hiya Honeybee, hope you're okay. I loved your slim cards you did the other day on YouTube, they were really nice. Yeah, I love this one, but Karen, I mentioned earlier, and it's worth looking at, the dies to these are gorgeous as well. So do check them out, because if you get them together, you get your discount. Oh, thanks Wendy, it was lovely that you caught us. Cindy, I did Christmas cards with those colours and the reindeer. Yes, they were so nice, the crumb cake and the Old Olive, those ones. Terracotta tile, you're right, it is terracotta. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was annoying me. So that one's terracotta tile. You're right. I was looking at all my current colours, not the in colours, so that's where I've gone. I'm glad you like it. So there we are. Which one's your favourite colour then? Are we Highland Heather, Melon Mambo or Bermuda Bay? I think I actually like the Melon Mambo. Unusually. I thought it would be the Highland Heather because that's what I'd started off with, but I think Melon Mambo's winning. Anyone got any favourites? Melon Mambo for Honeybee. Well, thank you for joining me. I will see you all next week, 4 o'clock again on Sunday. Oh, another Melon Mambo come in. Yay. Don't forget, if you do make this project, please pop over to Slim and Stylish's Crafty Hangout, find the album and pop your makes into the album. I'd love to see what you've made. Do come back in the week, I put other videos on, and if you've enjoyed it, do give me a little thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Thank you everybody, have a good rest of the weekend, and see you soon. Bye.